in the decision-making.
Do we have power over Metrolinx? No. But do we have the power to advocate and fight them? Absolutely.
Anger at Metrolinx over its plan to close the intersection of Bathurst and Eglinton for 7 months.
His room is in here.
And a day this family won't soon forget. We'll introduce you to some Habitat for Humanity first-time homeowners. And there's a live shot of the Ontario Legislature where we are following a number of developing stories tonight. We begin with the Deputy Commissioner of the OPP calling on the province's ombudsman to intervene and investigate the recent appointment of Toronto Police Superintendent Ron Taverner as the next commissioner of the force. Brad Blair filed a formal request today and wrote to the ministers responsible about what he claims are growing concerns about the hiring process and potential political interference. Taverner, a close friend of Premier Doug Ford, is set to take over as the OPP's next commissioner on Monday. Now, Blair, who was also in the running for the top job, wants Taverner's appointment delayed while a review is undertaken. Despite sitting 2 levels below the rank of deputy chief in the Toronto Police Service, Taverner was unanimously appointed by members of the PC cabinet. The government has since admitted that it lowered the requirements for the position, saying it wanted to attract a wider range of candidates for the job. And a big development tonight when it comes to negotiating doctors' OHIP fees. The provincial government has pulled the plug on its binding arbitration talks with the Ontario Medical Association, stating it has lost confidence in the association's ability to represent its members after some high-paid specialists voted to break away. In documents obtained by CBC Toronto, lawyers for the OMA say the move is, quote, unprecedented and an affront to the rule of law. The association representing Ontario's physicians has been without a contract for 5 years. Another round of arbitration had been slated for this weekend. No one from the government responded to CBC's requests for comment. And a public meeting about the Crosstown LRT got pretty heated tonight. It's after its construction company sent notices to residents saying it was going to close the intersection of Bathurst and Eglinton for 7 months. All in an attempt to make up for lost time on construction. Taylor Simmons tells us how that idea went over.
Just a block from where construction on Forest Hill Station continues, residents and councillors are drilling into Metrolinx.
To treat people in this way is truly disgusting. It's truly disgusting.
The transit agency recently announced they'd be closing Bathurst between Eglinton and Wembley Road and diverting the TTC's Bathurst bus line. With the 19-kilometer light rail line 1 year behind schedule, Crosslinks, the company building the line, says the closure would allow it to complete the station faster.
If we can start in December, the road would be open in June of next year instead of December.
The problem, the city says,
They actually didn't have a permit to announce what they want to do. If they close down Bathurst and Eglinton, there will be drivers by the hundreds trying to frustratingly find ways to get north-south.
And residents here tonight say they weren't consulted on the plan. Dane Gregas heard the news when this pamphlet came to his door.
It just sort of says basically this is what we're doing and that's all there is to it, right? And that's why everybody's been so upset here, because it was this, we've never even heard about this before.
They haven't planned it well enough. They haven't planned the whole thing well enough.
Many residents say they prefer the original construction plan, which would take longer but keep the intersection open. Crosslink says it's still willing to make changes.
That's why we're having the meeting tonight, to hear people's concerns and to provide them with the information, show them the pros and cons.
As it stands, the councillors say the city won't be allowing the closure of this intersection this month. They say they want Metrolinx to come back with more options and more consultation in the new year. Taylor Simmons, CBC News, Toronto.
Still with transit and with the full adoption of Presto cards on the TTC next month, many community groups are voicing their concerns about the phase-out of tokens.
What's happening now is a dictatorship, and you're telling us how a service is going to play and how we're going to pay for it. And that is not a consultation.
Advocates say losing tokens will put vulnerable people at risk. They're concerned they won't be able to buy Presto cards and distribute them to those in immediate need. But Metrolinx and the TTC say they have come up with a solution.
Are launching tickets, and this is what a ticket looks like, and I know we'll talk about it more. And tickets are really a closer equivalent to a token. So it's for a single ride, and in fact, we're going to be launching them with 2 rides and a day pass.
The tickets are expected to be launched in February, but community members still have concerns over their cost and accessibility. The OPP announcing a major guns and drug bust today, dismantling a ring that was manufacturing its own illegal, untraceable firearms. 23 people are facing charges. Linda Ward takes us through what led to Project Renner and what else police found.
OPPs say they noticed a rise in domestically sourced guns and they knew something was up. So they launched Project Renner back last April, and then late last week they carried out 39 search warrants across the GTA, resulting in 23 arrests and more than 150 charges. Superintendent Brian McKillop with the OPP says they effectively dismantled a workshop where the accused, they allege, were building untraceable firearms using legally obtained parts.
This group manufactured these illegal guns for mass distribution to multiple criminal cells in Ontario. To be able to find this group that's manufacturing and distributing is actually quite unique and is a big deal.
Of the 40 firearms that police have seized over the course of this investigation, 26 of them have been seized from within the city of Toronto. Toronto Police Superintendent Brian Bott says he has noticed their presence on the streets.
We've seen these guns back as early as 2016. It's a very unique situation where we actually have landed the manufacturers in custody as opposed to the importers and or the traffickers.
In addition to the guns, police also seized drugs, grenades, and body armor. The 2 main accused, 47-year-old Bruce McKinnon of Rockwood and 29-year-old John Rasmussen of Smithville, are believed to have built more than 120 handguns. Now, police say this isn't over yet. They're still trying to track down more of these guns and the people who are believed to have been building them, but they're also calling on lawmakers to regulate the parts that they're using to build them in the first place. Linda Ward, CBC News, Vaughan.
Colette is away, and Nick Cernkovich joins us tonight with his first look at the forecast. I like the little upward trend behind you on the chart.
Yeah, don't get used to it, Mike,
Nope,
but
nope.
I mean, at least for the next couple of days, you can look forward to an upward trend. I thought I would start with that, perhaps a little bit of good news. Today felt quite cool, -1, but with the wind chill feeling like -6, up to 5 by the end of the week, and then temperatures drop again. Flurries tonight are going to clear out by tomorrow. Generally sunny conditions across the region there. A few flurries, though, tomorrow as we move through southwestern Ontario, but tomorrow evening, in the GTA, we're looking at more in the way of light flurries, nothing really accumulating. -5 tonight, feels like -10 tomorrow, 1 degree, a little warmer, and that warm up on the way.
It's a chilly overnight. Okay, thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Hey, if you and your family have already received your flu shots, well, consider yourself lucky. Some GTA pediatricians are telling us they are having to turn away patients after not getting enough or even the wrong vaccines are being delivered to them. Greg Ross has the story.
Pediatrician Jay Demand says he's completely out of the flu vaccine.
Monday we turned 4 patients. Friday I turned away 2 or 3 patients.
This is even more of a concern because of the fact he runs a specialized clinic that caters to infants with issues such as asthma and heart defects.
More so to the babies who have these medical problems because they would get sicker than a healthy baby would.
Demand says it's not just the flu vaccine he's struggling to keep in stock.
This fridge is normally full with the vaccines that we order.
He says he's having trouble filling his orders for most infant vaccines with the province of Ontario. Pediatricians are required to fax orders a week in advance.
So what time period are these faxes? Like how?
These are over the past few months.
But Demand says his orders are often never filled, even though he believes the vaccines he needs are available.
I think it's mismanagement. It's not shortage. I mean, we are in Canada. We have vaccines. Third world countries have vaccines.
We reached out to the province to ask why pediatricians are having trouble getting their orders filled. A representative said they're looking into the problem, but in the meantime,
How frustrating is it to go to the doctor's office and find out you can't get the flu vaccine?
Yeah, it's quite frustrating. It's been 4 weeks.
Marko Vinovich has a 2-year-old son still waiting to get his first flu shot.
But what do you do in the meantime while you're waiting?
I think what we're trying to do is just take all the precautions that we can, like getting the flu shot ourselves, both my wife and I, and then our in-laws.
And that is an option for parents. Anybody over the age of 5 can get a flu vaccination at just about any pharmacy, but infants and toddlers under the age of 5 still need to go to a pediatrician or a family doctor. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, the family of a woman who died on serial killer Elizabeth Wetlaufer's watch thinks she might have been a 9th victim. We'll have their efforts to learn the truth coming up. We know Elizabeth Wetlaufer is a serial killer, a nurse who murdered 8 of her patients. But a family in London, Ontario suspects their loved one may have been a 9th victim. And they have taken the extraordinary step of getting a court order to force police to reveal what they know about her death. John Lancaster has the CBC Toronto exclusive.
I thought, well, she must be the next one.
Convicted serial killer Elizabeth Wetlaufer is serving a life sentence for killing 8 patients in her care. One of those murders happened here at the Meadow Park long-term care home in London, Ontario, where Wetlaufer worked. But now, another death at the facility is raising suspicions, at least from the family of the woman who died there. Florence Beadall died at Meadow Park Care Home back in August 23, 2014. That's the same day Wetlaufer has admitted attacking another patient at Meadow Park, a man who she lethally injected with massive amounts of insulin. Beadall's family isn't saying anything publicly, but legal documents obtained by CBC News show they obtained a court order forcing London police to hand over everything they learned about Beadall's death and what, if anything, Wetlaufer told them about it. But so far, London police haven't complied.
One night she said, I'm going to die tonight.
The situation raises questions about the possibility that Wetlaufer may have harmed other patients in her care.
The commissioner would deem relevant.
Unanswered questions, this lawyer says, could have been resolved at the public inquiry looking into Wetlaufer's crimes. Alex Van Kralingen urged the inquiry to compel Wetlaufer to testify in front of the victims' families. His request was denied by the inquiry.
Obviously, if she had been brought to testify, one of the open questions would be if she had been engaging in any other sort of conduct outside of the offenses that she confessed to. And I actually think there would have been great value in having her there.
Provincial police, which led the criminal investigations into Wetlaufer's crimes, will only say they aren't aware of any confessions Wetlaufer made regarding Beadall's death. John Lancaster, CBC News, Toronto.
A Grinch has been targeting online shoppers in the Bloor and Lansdowne area, stealing parcels right off of people's front porches. Now, with Christmas just 2 weeks away, police say they're seeing an uptick in this kind of crime. As Talia Ricci tells us, neighbors are taking to social media to share their frustrations and to warn others.
This is something that we see happening everywhere, but we specifically saw a lot of posts on social media about it happening in this neighborhood and on this street. In the St. Clarence Ave Facebook group, residents have been sharing photos of their parcels that have been ripped open or taken right off their porch. Earlier, we spoke to one of those residents.
I came home, I opened my door, and I found my parcel just lying in the middle of the porch. Someone had opened it so you could see like the cardboard was all like crimped and wrecked, and someone had like sifted around inside.
Another concern we came across on social media today was someone who says they witnessed a person stealing packages off porches, but when they called Toronto police, they were told to file a report online. We asked Toronto police why this was, and they said they do see an uptick in thefts like this over the holidays, but whether or not they can respond right away depends on their resources.
So if they are witnessing this happen as we speak, let's just say, contact the officers and see if we can attend at that time. But I mean, given the fact that this is a theft, and depending on how many officers are available, that's all taken into consideration. It's not to say we won't attend. A theft in progress, we don't know how much the value is.
Obviously, part of the challenge is that not everyone can be home to accept their packages. And so we spoke to a company today that started here in Toronto, and they offer a service where you can have your parcel delivered to their centers to avoid a situation like this happening.
When we started up the business, it was not really on our radar screen, but we realized as we grew the business that in fact a lot of people are using our service for that security and safety aspect. You don't need to worry about where's my parcel, is somebody running around after the delivery vans and stealing from the ports or whatever's going on.
UPS, Purolator, and Canada Post all got back to CBC Toronto today about these incidents. They all suggested that customers review all of their options when they're ordering things online. Some of the tips included tracking your package, requiring a signature upon delivery, or having the package delivered to a shipping center as opposed to your front door. Talia Ricci, CBC News, Toronto.
Coming up, some families in need get the keys to their new homes just in time for the holidays.
The weather update is brought to you by Train Extreme Conditions Testing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard.
Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
The Leafs taking on the Hurricanes in Raleigh tonight, looking to avoid a third straight loss. Let's pick it up in the second. Game tied. Morgan Riley with the pass in front. Hamilton times it into his own net coming up right there. William Nylander, I haven't said his name in a while, would pick up an assist with the first point of the second. He'd get another one right here in the third as he streaks up the ice and sets up Patrick Marleau to make it 3-1. Leafs would get another goal when Mitch Marner sends the puck out in front for John Tavares. Leafs win this game 4-1. And some shocking news from the Blue Jays today. They have released star shortstop Troy Tulowitzki. Tulo has been plagued by injuries, leading him to miss all of last season. He'll now be a free agent, but the Jays still have to pay the remaining $38 million left on his contract. In a statement, the Jays said the move is in the best interest of both sides. Nick Cernkovich is with us tonight with his extended look at the forecast. So chilly overnight, but then we don't have much to complain about for the rest of the week.
No, we don't. And actually, today, I mean, it felt cold, but it's pretty much bang on seasonal. Here's a look at the almanac for Toronto for today. Step out of the way. The average high, 1.6 degree. We were a little bit cooler than that, but not by a whole lot. And tonight going down to -5. The average low, -5.9. Nowhere near the records, of course, but still pretty much where we should be. What's happening here over the next 24 hours is we're seeing things clear out. So any flurries that you've got tonight, they are clearing out by tomorrow. Some sunshine through the morning, at least around the Golden Horseshoe. Down in southwestern Ontario, afternoon flurries in the forecast there. What we're looking at moving through the next 24 hours is another small wave coming through. So afternoon flurries in southwestern Ontario, late afternoon, evening flurries across the Golden Horseshoe, but not much to speak of in terms of accumulations there. Winds will be a bit of a factor for you, though. By the later afternoon hours, winds out of the east, 20 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour. So what that means is pretty cool day in the forecast. At least it'll feel that way anyway. Southwestern Ontario, -7 degrees through the overnight period. It's fairly cool as things start to clear out there. By tomorrow, temperatures up a little bit. 2 degrees with cloud cover and flurries across the region. Again, there's the winds, though, that we're expecting 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Around the Golden Horseshoe, we're looking at temperatures tonight around about -5, feeling like -10. By the time we hit tomorrow, anywhere from about 1 to 2 degrees. Morning sunshine, afternoon cloud cover, late afternoon, evening flurries in the forecast for the GTA. For the next 5 days, here's how it plays out. So tomorrow we talked about already. Overnight lows starting to get warmer as well. Thursday, 3 degrees. The risk for a little bit of patchy drizzle, but it should generally stay dry. Now, Friday's the interesting one. There's a system that's pushing up from the south. Latest forecast models have it staying to the south. However, a slight shift to the north over the next couple of days could mean about 15 to 25 millimeters of rain. We'll watch that. Otherwise, the warm temperatures, the story. Mike.
All right. Thanks a lot, Nick.
You bet.
Owning a home in the Greater Toronto Area is getting harder and harder to afford. It's especially difficult for newcomers to Canada who are starting from scratch. Today, some wishes came true thanks to Habitat for Humanity. Ali Chiasson was with some grateful new homeowners in Brampton today.
The McLaughlin Build Site Move-In Day is here. Oh, yay!
Today gets us all thinking about how much home matters.
The Butoa family moved from Mauritius in 2010 to provide a better future for their kids. They were starting from scratch.
In North America, it's a bit difficult not easy to get the shelter.
They spent 6 years on a wait list for their new Habitat for Humanity house. All the while living in a cramped one-bedroom basement apartment. Debbie Butoa is thankful for the bigger space and
my kitchen.
We're in the bathroom. His room is in here. I like to play ball. The basement?
Give us the tour. Let's go.
Books.
The house is a hand up, not a hand out. Donors donate, volunteers build the homes. And each family pays monthly mortgage installments set at 30% of their gross income.
Many of the families who are moving into homes today are coming from one-bedroom apartments. And that's just one signal of the level of need that is out here. We are getting at this from both ends, advocating and doing it. Delivering home ownership today to 7 families. By mid-next year, another 6 here. We have another 40 families that will move into other build sites we're working on at Habitat. We're making it possible.
Habitat for Humanity has built 4 million houses. Then made me realize this is 4 times the population of my country. I was like, applause.
The Butoa family can now focus on getting some new furniture to make their new house feel like a home. But it's already cozy in there.
We are very thankful to the community that helped and all the volunteers that helped to build up make this home ownership a dream true.
Alice Chiasson, CBC News, Brampton.
As of tonight, it isn't just CBC meteorologists who are allowed to say, "Baby, it's cold outside" on CBC airwaves.
I really can't stay. Baby, it's cold outside.
CBC has reversed its decision to remove the holiday track, "Baby, It's Cold Outside," from seasonal playlists. The reversal comes after a flood of audience reaction to last week's decision to remove it. In a statement released today, CBC Head of Public Affairs Chuck Thompson said the audience input was overwhelmingly to include the song in our playlists. In the last few years, the holiday duet, penned back in 1944, has come under increased scrutiny for what some consider to be inappropriate lyrics. Before we go, our colleagues on Q are going to be taking a look at another controversial classic tomorrow, Handel's Messiah. Just how did it become a Christmas staple? Apparently, the story is more controversial than you might think. The director of the Taffel Music Chamber Choir will take us through it. That's tomorrow after 10 o'clock in the morning on CBC Radio 1. I'll see you back here tomorrow night at 11. Good night.